Price Cherry Waco Trib. Jordan, when the game was kind of still sort of close, it seemed like you had a lot of aggressive plays where you were taking it to the basket hard or, chasing down loose balls or whatever. I mean, is that something Nikki's kind of drilled into your head to play with that sort of aggression?
Yeah, definitely. I think she's always on me about being aggressive from the tip, and she says like when I offensive rebound and defensive rebound and get us extra possessions, like it really gets the team going. And so if I'm able to make those hustle plays and get the offense started with like pace, then it'll be good for all of us.
Cherry Hill, Baylor Bear Insider. Jordan, you and Liz, I think, combined for like 29 points in that third quarter. Was that an emphasis, or did that just happen in the flow?
No, I just think everyone's getting back under their feet from not playing for like a few days. And so I think coming out of the half, we wanted to kind of separate ourselves and not keep the game close. And so I think just getting out and running in transition, I think, is when we're at our best.
Jack Allen with 25 News in Waco. Jordan, just what was the message at halftime, and how much of that was a needed reset to go into the break like that?
The message was that we gave up 20 points to one player, and we didn't want to be the team that gave up an NCAA record. So we had to kind of guard and just lock in on defense and get closer to her and make her put it on the floor because she's a great shooter and has a quick release.
Chad Conine, Waco Tribune Herald. Sarah, you played with Melissa for a couple of years now. The way she played in the third quarter, do you just kind of expect that hammer to come down at some point with her?
Of course, I know, she's one of them players, like, you might not realize it, but you can look up at any given moment and she'll have 20. Like, it's amazing just the way she impacts the game, and at any given moment, I know she's going to go off.
Jordan, correct me if I'm wrong, but if you guys win on Sunday, this will be your personal first trip to the Sweet 16, right? How much is that a motivating factor?
I think it's a motivating factor, but I think it's one of the reasons I came here to play in a program like Baylor, because they're known for going to the Sweet 16 and known for competing at a high level. And so I think when you come here, you have to have that same competitive mindset and not settle for just what you think is okay. So.
Sarah, I guess for you and Jordan, like you mentioned, the one player scored 20 points, and y'all really, she struggled in that second half. It seems like y'all two were on her most of the time. Was that, it seemed like y'all switched the defense on there? Like, it seemed like Liz was covering her a lot in the first half.
Yeah, she plays the 4 position, but she really plays like a guard, and so we felt like we could use our bigs as more of a helper if she were to drive it past us, but just guarding her straight up as if she plays like a guard. She has a quick release. She can dribble, so we guarded her more like she was a guard than a forward.
Sarah, the crowd today seemed pretty live and pretty big crowd. Your response to playing on your home court and in front of them.
I mean, it's amazing when they come out and support us. I don't think, they know how much of an impact that they make when we have a crowd like that. We need that same thing Sunday. It's just amazing to have a crowd like that because it motivates us to come out and play hard.
That's Sarah. Just how good was it to see the ball start going through the hoop a lot there in the second half, and how can you kind of take that and ride it forward?
I mean, to see it going through, I was just like, finally, I think, the past few games I struggled putting the ball in the hole, and I think it was more about finding a rhythm. I think, Jay Lou threw me a pass. And it got tipped out of my hands, but I was able to finish it. And I think I kind of knew right then and there, like I was starting to get my rhythm back. And, Coach always kept telling me, shoot the ball. It'll go in sooner or later. So to finally see it go in tonight, I just hope it keeps going in forward and just a rhythm game.
For Sarah or Jordan, I guess, were y'all able to watch South Dakota? Were y'all able to watch that first game at all, and maybe any thoughts on what you saw there?
We watched a few minutes that we got to watch before we started to focus on our game. They're a very good team, and I think that you just have to focus on one game at a time. So we were focused on Hawaii at the moment, but just watching them, they have 5, they're all veterans. They have 3 super seniors. when you play teams like that, you have to be extra disciplined and locked into the game plan because they obviously have the experience.
All right, any other questions? If not, Jordan, Sarah, y'all can head out. Thank you. You want your own chair? You like my lap? All right, we will take questions now for Coach Collin.
Nikki, when Jordan is playing like that, does that kind of make y'all a next level team? Because I mean, obviously you know what Melissa's going to give you.
Well, I know everyone asked, like, before even we played this game, you know, obviously Melissa Smith is really good, but what will it take for you guys to, you know, ultimately try to win a national championship? You know, and I talked a lot about Jordan and Queen, you know, and I think Jordan, her ability to attack the paint and finish, get herself to the free throw line. I mean, she had 8 fouls drawn today. So that's aggressive. That's downhill play. When she plays aggressive, especially in early in games, that sets the tone for us. And I thought, you know, especially tonight, I think part of the reason we got off to a little bit of a slow start is Liz was a little under the weather. You know, didn't have a ton of energy, and then somehow kind of rallied in the second half. So definitely wanted to keep her minutes limited. And so, you know, Jordan has the ability to make threes. She's a kid who gets in the gym. She can get 3-point plays, and she can make the right pass. And so, you know, I think the key tonight was 6 defensive rebounds. Like, those were huge for us because it's something we're not very big at the guard position. And when we get our guards rebounding the basketball, we get in transition faster. You know, we don't give up extra possessions sometimes to our opponent. So she's a huge key for us.
Chad Conan, Waco Trib. The way Atwell came out firing and hit a bunch of shots and kind of kept them close, was that you were expecting that, or you wanted something different to happen?
Yeah, I certainly expected her to take shots. You know, I certainly wasn't expecting her to make them all like she was. I thought that we were there. I mean, it wasn't like we were giving her wide open shots off pin downs, other than I thought one time when her first 3, we made a huge mistake on a post-to-post screen where we didn't switch it and we were supposed to. So from a game plan perspective, that was a big mistake. I think the rest of them, our game plan was good. We were just playing with our hands down, you know, and I think, you know, she was just dribbling in rhythm, and if your hands are down, she's going to shoot it. She doesn't care that Queen is longer than her or Liz is longer than her. If their hands are down, they're not longer than her. And her release is so quick. So that was a huge part of the change at halftime. We figured if they would try to send her into the post against our littles, and we thought we could bring help. And if she was going to score, at least it was 2 by 2 by 2, because I thought they were in a rhythm. They had 2 points in the paint in the first half, you know, and so we felt like they were struggling to finish when they would get there, so we had to do a better job of funneling them to the paint, letting our shot blockers and you know, deter them at the rim, and give them one shot. And we gave up a few too many offensive rebounds. I mean, they were shooting so poorly in stretches that they were doing a good job of running down shots there for a while, but I mean, it all changed. By not giving her threes and making other people take shots in that third quarter, we got in transition. We started making threes, and then, you know, obviously the floor opened up to where even on the last possession of the third quarter, you can dial stuff up. You execute it at a high level, you touch the paint, you kick it out, and Jamie hits a 3. So you not only execute the action and the timing, but then you hit the shot. So, you know, it's plays like that. Those are the plays you have to make in close games and in NCAA tournament play.
Jerry Hill, Baylor Bear Insider. Coach, you kind of touched on it, but J. Lou as a defender, and did you make that switch at halftime, or had you already done some of that with them on Atwell? No,
we made that switch at halftime. You know, I just felt like, you know, we had fouled her twice on threes. You know, one time, you know, kind of losing track of her, and one time maybe questionable whether we fouled her on the second time, but between the 5 threes she made and the 2 times we put her at the foul line, it was too many. And so, and some of that was Tony. I mean, I let Tony make a lot of defensive decisions, and he'll run them by me, but he said, I think we have to put J. Lou on her. And then we just rotated matchups. We tried to stay fresh on her. Jaden played her some. Jamie played her a little. Sarah played her some. But we tried to keep fresh matchups on her. And as the shot clock would go down, we weren't coming off. Like, we were going to stay pretty attached to her. Wasn't Taylor Robertson attached, from the beginning of a possession, but it was very much late in the possession. We tried to keep it out of her hands because, but you started to see us get touches on balls, her having to shoot over us consistently. And so, we just did a better job of playing with our hands up.
Any other questions for Coach? Yes, Jack.
Yeah, Coach, I was just wondering, there at the end, it felt like you were really trying to get Jamie involved and get her to make a shot there to kind of get into a rhythm. Was that something that was a point of emphasis, and how important is it to see the ball go in the basket here in this first round?
Well, I just think, for us to be great, we need balance, and so I thought Jamie had some bad misses early. She's too good a shooter to shoot it that poorly, so just trying to get her to see the ball go through the basket. I'm not going to lie. I was actually running a play when we staggered for her. I was trying to run that play for AK instead, but we're so used to running that stagger for Jamie that we naturally did it, and it worked out because she hit it. But, yeah, I mean, I was trying to get AK a shot there at the end, but other than that, I did want the ball to go through the basket for Jamie. I mean, it was the same way with Sarah. Sarah's been playing through this hand injury, and we've limited her in practice, and I think the lack of repetitions has hurt her timing. So she was the one that made the decision, like, I've got 6 games left, and we'll deal with it when the season is over, and we'll just play through it for now. And so, I thought she was good getting to the rim, but to see the ball kind of on that crossover step back go through for her. Even when we ran an out of bounds play, I told her before she inbounded it, this shot's yours, like, take it in the corner, and that one didn't go in. But Sarah knows I believe in her. So it was good to see her make a couple threes as well.
Nikki, it seemed like it was as good a crowd as you guys have had this year for a 3 o'clock Friday game. Is that kind of how you saw it?
It was a great crowd. And I think sometimes you go from being in a tight game to all of a sudden blowing the game open, and you don't need them necessarily like you do in a 2-point game in the third quarter when you're trying to make a run. But we're certainly going to need them on Sunday. I hope they double in size between today and Sunday. I said it before, like, I know Iowa had a sellout, and I just challenged Waco and the community here to come out on Sunday. I had someone come up in the stands to me and tell me they'd flown all the way from Hawaii to watch Baylor, which was incredible to me. Like, that's next level commitment, because they weren't here to see anyone from Hawaii, but to cheer for Baylor. So extremely proud of that, but I think we've got to turn it up. South Dakota, I can remember I played in an NIT championship game, postseason NIT championship, when I was at FGCU at South Dakota, and they had a sellout for the WNIT championship. They travel well. They're loud. They were actually a lot of fun as I was scouting the game ahead of ours. But we need to make sure that they don't make any noise on Sunday. So I think it can go a long way because that South Dakota team is incredibly good, incredibly good.
Jerry.
Yeah, Nikki, I know you watched at least some of that game. What did you see from them? Seemed like they were able to dribble drive quite a bit.
Yeah, Dawn, I've known her since our Green Bay days with Kevin Borseth, and then when I was at FGCU, NKU was in our league at the time, so familiar with her motion. She's got better players than she did at NKU running this stuff. But, I think Chloe Glam is a WNBA draft pick. I think their starting center, I'm not going to pronounce her name because I'd get it wrong, but Hannah is a WNBA draft pick. Like, those guys, that inside out, and then they just have players that play their tails off. Like, I don't think people understand how good an offensive rebounder Maddie Scott is, and they kept her from even jumping on an offensive rebound. I mean, they're fundamentally, they're a gap team. They do such a good job of playing in the gap. They do a good job helping and digging. They give you one shot because they're so physical. They've got sizes at every position. And they're just a well-oiled machine. They're one of those teams that is, after an early season stretch of where they struggled a little bit, I mean, they've gotten conference play and have built all this momentum and confidence. And so, I've been watching them all week. That wasn't because I predicted that they would win. But I've made the decision every day this week to watch 2 Ole Miss games and 2 South Dakota games and 2 Hawaii games. So that's just what I've done preparing all week. And so was not surprised to see that result today. I think they're a really, really good basketball team. Probably underseeded with respect to their league, but probably because those early non-conference games that they didn't win against A&M in a neutral site tournament, teams like that, they didn't have those like feather in their cap marquee non-conference wins, but they're a really good basketball team.
All right, we've got one question for you, Coach, from Zoom. Dave Reardon. Hold on just a minute, Dave. Let me give you permission to talk. Hold on. All right, I think we've lost you. Dave, are you there? Oh, I don't think we can get you, Dave.
You have to write in. You write it in the chat?
And we can't get in the chat either. I think we're
my bad.
Yeah. But
Good idea,
thanks.
though.
Yeah, we're not able to do that. I'm sorry, Dave. But that we'll let you go, Coach. Thank you very much. And good
No
luck
questions
on
for
Sunday.
Beckham? Anybody got a question for Beckham? Oh, no, Mom says no.
Yes, that's right.
Are you sleepy?
All right, thanks for joining us.